What's up, guys? So we are now on my computer and I'm going to run you through the one lesson that really made the difference and helped me along my journey and ultimately got me from point A to point B. And once I realized this lesson, getting there wasn't as frustrating as it was prior. And honestly, if I had learned this lesson a little bit earlier, I wouldn't have let the frustration get to me and kind of make me or affect my view of the situation that I was in and make me make decisions based on my emotions. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and let you know what the lesson is and then kind of explain point A to point B and the different phases you're going to go through so that if you're experiencing those things right now, you can feel a little bit at ease and know that you are still on the way to where you're trying to be and just kind of make you feel a little bit better in the journey and kind of know what to expect and how to navigate these feelings, right? So I'm going to just go ahead and tell you guys what the lesson was. The number one thing that I learned that was the most important in terms of just me staying on track was you won't. Oh my God, let me zoom into it here. Sorry, guys. You won't feel like it's working until it's worked. I'm going to say this in like terms of everything, not just fitness, but let's say we put it in the perspective of my fitness journey, right? It's very hard at the beginning because you don't know what you're doing, right? Let's be honest, you don't. So you're still learning, but also you're not going to see the results until the results are there, right? You don't know what's going to work. And it's going to be very, very small results every single day that you won't see because you're looking at your body every day, right? And you're developing body dysmorphia. So you won't see the changes until you compare point A to point B, but you'll only be able to see it once you're at that point B. So when you remember that you won't feel like it's working until it's worked, it'll be a little bit of like some comfort that you can have when you're thinking about, okay, I don't know if this is working, but you're cognizant of the idea or the lesson that you won't feel like it's working until it's worked. So you can kind of put yourself at ease a little bit. So in terms of my fitness journey, like I would show up every day and I'd be like, I don't know if this is working or I'm not sure if I'm making progress or results. And I was able to tell myself, okay, you're not going to feel like it's working until it's worked. You just need to keep trying, keep trusting the process, and you will get there. A lot of you guys quit and give up because you don't understand this or you don't understand that you won't see the results that you're looking for. You won't know if it's working because you haven't gotten there yet. And nobody thinks this. They just assume that, oh, the process doesn't work or I'm not doing the right thing or they worry that they're going to waste their time when in reality the time is going to pass anyways. So for my fitness journey, I would show up to the gym, train hard, do my cardio, follow my nutrition. And, there were days where I'm like, is this even worth it? Is it even working? And I didn't see the progress I was looking for until one day I woke up, looked in the mirror and was like, okay, wait, I've made the progress I was looking for. Like I'm here, I'm finally here. But every single day leading up to that, I was in my head, I was doubtful. I wasn't sure if it was working. And so ultimately it made me kind of have off days where I'd go off track because I'm like, this isn't working. And it slowed down the process because I simply couldn't understand that I will never feel like it's working until A, I've done it for long enough to the point where I know it's working, which is what I'm doing now. Obviously I know it's working because I know what I'm doing. But before at the time, like you won't know it is. Or B, until I've worked long enough to see the results that I'm looking for. But usually you're scared that you're never going to reach that because it's going to take time and you're not going to see the results until you've reached that point. It's almost like you have to be a little bit delusional to believe in something or work towards something that you can't even see or you don't even know is going to happen. So once we kind of understand that you're not going to feel like it's working until it's worked, let's get into the process, like the fundamental phases from point A to point B in terms of whatever goal it may be, right? So if we were to even apply this thing right here or this lesson to my career, like there were so many times where like I didn't like working the jobs that I did when I was in college and even younger than that. And ultimately like just wanting to build my own business, do my own thing, work for myself. And I was always so frustrated trying to get there. And I didn't realize that every step I made, every time I fell, every time I failed, all of those things were working towards building me up to where I am now, which is a place that I like to be. So I'm at my point B now and I'm happy and I'm glad that I'm here as opposed to where I used to be. But at the time, in the process of getting from where I used to be to here, I wasn't aware that it was working. The only thing that kept me going was my commitment to the process because I still believed in the lesson that you won't feel like it's working until it's worked. So because I believe in this lesson and because I understood this lesson and learned this lesson, I'm able to commit to the process regardless of if I see results the next day or if I see results within years. So I am committed to the act of doing the habits that will get me to point B, even though I won't see the results or what exactly I'm looking for until they've compounded over enough time for me to be there. Let's get into kind of like the process or the phases that you're going to go through when you're achieving any goal, whether it be from point A to point B. So the first thing to understand is that getting yourself from point A to point B is, yes, going to be a process of a life you have at point A and then a new life you're going to have at point B. But ultimately along the way, you are going to change because point A or the person at point A doesn't have what it takes to possess the things that you're essentially going to want at point B. So in the journey from point A to point B, again, this goal can be very, very broad because essentially achieving any goal is the act of getting yourself there and conquering yourself. So this can be applicable to literally anything. I will explain it in terms or use examples in terms of my fitness journey or my business journey, my career journey, whatever it may be, or overall my life. But getting yourself from point A to point B is fundamentally changing you by making you do something hard and difficult and kind of committing to a process where you don't know if it's going to work and you're not going to see results, but it's going to give you the principles of discipline, mental fortitude, consistency. It's going to help you build confidence, all those kinds of things. And those attributes or characteristics that you're building along the way and you'll eventually have when you're the person at point B is what's going to translate into having those things that you want. In order to get what you want or have the lifestyle that you want, you have to be the person who has those things. And clearly, if you don't have it, then you're not that person. So in order to get where you want to be, you have to be that person every single day. And then eventually those things will translate later, right? It's very similar to how I say your physique will change once you figure out what's going on up here, because what's going on up here is a direct reflection or translation of what you look like out here. Right. So if something's going on with your physique or your lifestyle or the way that you live or operate, all of that is a reflection of how you think and the way that you handle things in your brain. So without further ado, let's talk about the kind of phases or processes you can expect when getting from a place you don't necessarily like to your goal or your dream outcome. So if we're starting at point A here, usually this is something like, you're frustrated, you've hit a point of suffering that you can no longer tolerate, and you're like, okay, I'm ready to make a change. So the first step is going to be stop settling and figure out things that you're avoiding, right? So the reason that you're in point A is not because you don't know what to do. Usually you know what to do, but you avoid doing it because of something that you're not facing, right? So do you have a lack of confidence to the point where you're not going to start because you're not confident enough in yourself, or you're convincing yourself that you're happy where you are, but in reality, you're just too scared to chase your dreams, quit your job, start your fitness journey, all those things. And it's human nature to keep us in our comfort zone, keep us somewhere where we know we won't fail. And so you need to be aware and cognizant of that and stop settling for the life that you know subconsciously you don't want, and just admit that you don't want it, and then figure out whatever it is that you avoid. There's this quote that I talk about a lot in my YouTube videos and Instagram and everything like that is, if only you ever did all the things you didn't want to, you'd have everything you ever wanted, right? So the things that you avoid daily or the things that you consistently put off are the ones that should be most urgent to get done, because those are the things that could be changing in your life. Because the reason that you're avoiding it is either due to fear, lack of confidence, insecurity, whatever it may be. Those things that you're avoiding could give you the new life that you're trying to build. Because on the latter end of that, or on the other end of the spectrum, the things that you're doing every single day, or those habits that you are actually completing, are keeping you stuck where you're at. Identify the things that you're avoiding, figure out why you're avoiding them, and look at the things that you're avoiding, because I guarantee you that's what's going to yield you results. So for example, in my fitness journey, of course, I would avoid doing cardio, or I avoid sticking to nutrition because I lacked emotional regulation. I was soft. I wasn't confident in myself. I didn't believe in myself. I would experience negative emotions, and so I would fall off track with my food. I didn't do the things that I said I would, so therefore I had no confidence. Because I avoided doing the hard things that I know that needed to be done because they were uncomfortable, I got to my end goal or whatever a lot slower. In terms of my career and my business journey and all that stuff, I kept choosing the safe option. I did not have the courage to be uncomfortable. I wanted to work a 9 to 5 because it was safe, it was stable. I was a little bit intimidated by posting on social media. I was scared to tell people what my goals were because I didn't want to fail. And I didn't even confront the reasons why I wasn't doing these things. Like, why am I scared to fail? Why don't I have confidence? Why don't I believe in myself? Why do I have this negative relationship with myself? Because I never faced those, it kept me stuck. I never did the internal work or the mental work up here to get the life that it is that I actually want. That's why I'm trying to say that this is applicable to literally like all kinds of goals, because the act of essentially doing what you say you will is mastering yourself, conquering yourself, right? You say you want to achieve this goal, so do it. The next phase of that journey is going to be follow the plan, even though you'll convince yourself every day it's not working. So this kind of goes to the one lesson that I learned, but around here is where you start to really need to remember this, because at the beginning, it's easy to have that motivation, that discipline, because you had just started, right? But in the middle, you haven't seen the progress of the results yet, or you're unsure if it's working because you start to get in your head. And oftentimes you don't really have anyone helping you, and you either have body dysmorphia or you have imposter syndrome or something like that, where you feel like you don't belong, or you feel like it's not working, or you feel like you should choose something new because it's getting hard, right? In reality, if we keep choosing new things, we'll never get anywhere. We'll be at the beginning of everything we've ever started instead of picking one thing and staying on track with it, right? So when you get to this middle part here of your journey towards point B, this is arguably the hardest part, right? Because you haven't gotten the results yet, but you've been working really hard and you start getting frustrated. This is where remembering the lesson that I talked about at the beginning of this video is very, very important. You will never believe that it's working until you've done it and you've seen that it's worked. And then therefore, when you try it again, you can trust it. So the very first time that you embark on any journey or any goal, you're going to have to remember, or hopefully watch this video and understand that you won't know that it's working until like you're looking in the mirror and you've lost the body fat and you've built the muscle, or you've quit your job and you've actually started your business, or you've done all the work necessary to get that dream job you're trying to, and you finally got the dream job after years of hard work, right? But that's the only thing that can solidify the validity of this plan in a sense. So just being able to remind yourself that you're working towards something that you won't necessarily see the fruits of your labor until like much later is going to help you along this journey and keep you kind of grounded, because you're also going to be the number one thing getting in your head. You have the power to get yourself where you want to be, but you also have the power to slow yourself down. So again, the act of getting from point A to point B is literally mastering yourself, conquering yourself, having that mental fortitude, which is what you're building along this journey. So I'm trying to give you these little points or these little pointers and tips, and ultimately it's one lesson that got me through the whole thing. So after you break through this point and you've accepted the fact that you're not going to see the results until you're physically there and you just need to trust the process, you will get to hear, don't keep worrying about the end result and focus on being the person that has those things. What does a successful person do, right? Think about the actions that they take, the standard they hold themselves to. So when you understand that you must be the person first before you can have the things that you want, you stop focusing on what the end result is and you're committed to the process of taking the actions that a person who has those things would have, and then you become that person, therefore having those things that you want. Again, guys, I'm going to try to keep this short and to the point. I hope this was able to give you some motivation. Once you understand these three things under the umbrella of the one lesson that I learned, you will eventually get to point B, or your end result, whatever goal it may be, whether it be fitness, life, anything like that. I hope that if you remember the one lesson that I told you, it'll help keep you grounded. If you need any help with motivation, discipline, or you're experiencing a lot of frustration right now, you can DM me on Instagram or comment down below and I will reach out to you. If you want to work with me one-to-one to build your dream physique and overall increase your confidence and make your life just better in general, and work with someone who I think is pretty awesome, which is me, I hate to toot my own horn. I'm just messing with you guys, but I think y'all are awesome. I'm going to leave the link to my one-to-one program down below in the video. I'll also link my Instagram if you want to message me there, or if you want more daily content from me. I'm very active on Instagram and TikTok, and I engage with you guys all the time. If you need help with your fitness journey or have any questions, you can also drop those in the comments down below. Again, this was just a short video to kind of keep you guys motivated and remind y'all to not give up, keep pushing. And I love you guys so much. I will see you in the next one.